Hello, welcome back to the Caster Desk. We had one hell of a game one to start us off here on the main stage. Our third place matchup between Team Infernal and Team Ocean definitely rocked our socks to start it all off.
That was wild.
It was.
I love the proactivity from Team Ocean, right? They had the early game lead for a hell of a long time. Through their bot side of the map, it was great to see. They played smart and defended around top, but then they couldn't end it.
Then madness occurred, pretty much what I love, what I thought. You've been through the LPL too. We're accustomed to this. We know how this all goes.
It's definitely the play-by-play's dream because that's when you can just go wild. You can yell your head off. I can just chill until the aftermath.
Pretty much that's what was happening. Definitely was sweating during that game, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but I want to see now that we're swapping sides, how they're going to approach this. We have Arise, Braves, Evelyn, Twisted Fate. Those are the four bands to start us all off.
Yeah, so APA, as you already saw from the Aurelion Soul game, is the type to want to roam around pretty consistently. So the Twisted Fate band on red side makes a lot of sense, and they just don't want silly shots to get a hold of, the, of course, the Evelyn. So makes sense on both sides. That's just going to be banned out. So just want to see now what the response is going to be for Team Ocean. What do they want to have on blue side first pick?
As do I, because when they were on the red side, Rise, Graves, Twisted Fate. Here they can take away Lulu. They don't have to worry about that in the bot lane for Winter, even if the early game really wasn't Winter's especial. It was the late game polymorphing and using the wild growth on the right targets.
So Lee Sin has been a first pick. It's a safe one. It's going to be a blind pick jungle. You don't see a lot of solo lane Lee Sin, so that's the only thing to be aware of. I just want to see what the priority is going to be here for Team Ocean.
Probably Nidalee, if I had to guess. I mean, they've been doing that a lot. Though that Camille, the takeaway from PCL makes far more sense because Nidalee isn't really that high priority. Silly Shots plays a lot of the AP junglers, but really we've been seeing Chad more stick to like the Lee Sins and Graves.
And for people who've been watching competitive and, around the world, especially around Worlds, Yuumi is just not going to be, it depends on the team, of course.
Yes.
So I want to see which team is more willing to play Yuumi, but not in this series, as we can already see. So playing to the strengths here and taken away from PCL already. That's what Team Ocean's goal is going to be.
And PCL going on to Gwen, usually when not on Camille. Gwen has been the fallback to play in top lane, especially when you already know what you're going up against. Though I kind of like the Jax that we saw from Concept last time around, seeing the power that had in the late game. Almost was enough to make up for the difficult team fights that they had set up for themselves, but unfortunately just not enough.
Yeah, that's why I think simplicity of it is pretty important. That's what we got to hear from Golden Glue on the desk, is that Team Infernal just had an easier to play out composition.
Yeah. So
even though Team Ocean had quite a large advantage, they couldn't, in even setting, couldn't out team fight Team Ocean. Team Infernal responded really well on the side lane pressure that Concept had. So I think that's just going to be the overall shift. As I say that, Silly Shot's still going to get a hold on the Nidalee. Had a huge early game advantage, so there's a lot to be confident about with that pick.
Well, especially when you have something like a Camille on your team, you can still set up side lanes like you did before for Concept, but also the Camille favors a little bit better in these team fights, the pick potential you have with that.
And even just the early game, we were talking about how you could play into the Nidalee and give her the advantage, what we saw from APA in the first game. But also, if you just have lane set up, Nidalee can come to you.
Yeah.
So Hookshot being a pretty reliable CC there for Camille, then Nidalee could just go straight up top side and get Concept the advantage.
It reminds me a lot when we saw Renekton Nidalee. That combo, pretty much just something that's really easy to land the stuns onto, so you can follow up with the spear right afterwards. You blow them up immediately, have these early leads in the top lane so that you can transition that elsewhere.
Take a look at this. So this is going to be the first time we see Vex today. Today. We're going to see this champion a lot. Has a lot of CC, easy wave clear through mid, roaming power. So now Strumpus is going to be the one to pick it up. He picked it up on third pick, means that they can just start to ban away picks that do quite well into it. So it's going to be a Veigar. They already banned the Syndra, kind of setting up for the pick. So far, so good there from Team Infernal.
I wonder if LeBlanc will be the last ban coming in from Team Infernal. Just really set up Strumpus on the best possible lane you can. Even if we know that APA has those pocket picks that not everyone really plays, the Ziggs, the Aurelion Soul. I doubt we'll see the Aurelion Soul in this game.
Yes, I do agree on this one. So I want to see a little bit more what Team Ocean's willing to give. APA shouldn't be too concerned on that one. Lux being a ban out to APA.
Surprising.
So, I mean, they just respect the pick quite a bit. And we already saw how strong it was. Golden Glue, once again, on the desk, mentioning how patient Strumpus was on the pick, so he's respecting APA as well.
And on a Vex, you have to have a lot of patience too. Know when to go in with your ult. Even if you can get the resets, you got to be careful because you can get blown up before you're going to be able to get the full burst of damage that you need.
Let's see. If I were to look to Team Infernal, sure they have a Gwen that they can play towards. But yeah, I think just beefing up your team fighting. You already have playmaking there from Strumpus and Chad, and he's shown you what he can do on the Lee Sin. So pretty confident in that respect. So you just need some front-to-back consistent DPS. The Vayne in the last game put in a lot of work, but there's no Lulu coming into this one. So if this is going to be an Aphelios lock-in, and it is for Kyle, let's see what the support pickup is going to be for Team Infernal.
I also think that is a no ban there, because we actually have been seeing a couple teams go for no bans.
Yeah.
Where either they miss the target, or sometimes they're just like, you know what, we don't really care. There's nothing really else that we really feel threatened by.
There's always something to ban, but you're right. Like in terms of just your new team, a lot of young players, you're running the clock. It has happened, as you mentioned. So it's going to be another Aurelion Soul there for APA. But this time you have actually a lot of setup. So this time you have the Camille on the top side locking in the Rakan, so there is a lot more CC. Last game, difficult to start the fight.
Yeah.
And now this time around, not going to be an issue.
That's what I was just about to say to you. I'm like, this looks like a far better team fight composition than we saw last time, at least compared to what we saw. They really struggled at having that right person to engage for them. Here they got Camille, they've got Rakan as well with Nidalee to follow it all up.
So I wonder what the conversation with Team Ocean was when they did miss the ban, because they have to think about the supports that are available. It's going to be the Morgana, because my main point is that you don't want to ban the Yuumi. Even as strong as Yuumi is, with Aphelios, you are just going to get dove. There's no power, fighting power in the bot side of the map. But now with Morgana, that's a lot of overall spell shield plus like ambiguity, because you're also talking about Gwen in a team fight not being able to hit when she has her W up. So it's going to be pretty difficult to land skill shots from the side of Team Ocean if Team Infernal is playing well. Team fight wise, I would give it over to Team Infernal just simply for Morgana, Aphelios. The only question is if they have a strong enough front line to back it up.
Right, because the one thing we look at this composition that they've drafted for themselves is who's really going to be able to absorb all the damage for the team?
Yeah.
They're all fairly susceptible to getting immediately blown up by a Nidalee, by a Camille, by Jhin, even Aurelion Soul to do all that damage.
But much like champions like Akali and all these things, even though they're just not beefy enough, right?
Yeah.
It always comes down to how long are they going to stay alive?
Yep.
How annoying are they going to be in a team fight? And that's Gwen can buy a lot of time in those fights. Same with Lee Sin. So it's going to give a lot of space to Aphelios to get the job done if they are playing well. So interested to see what we can do here. Of course, just as a reminder, Infernal with 1 game advantage in a best of 3. So if they can take this game, they win the series.
We'll see if we get a follow-up, though. Look at this. That is a big star. The Galaxy Brain right in mid lane from Ocean to start it off.
That always reminds me of, remember the LCS just like last split, I believe. CLG strategy just killed Jizuke by running mid because they know that he does. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Catch someone in the mid lane.
What was it, for like, solid like 3 weeks?
Oh, they always had a level 1, yeah. So that's always fun. This one, no one to be found.
Not yet. We'll see. We did see an attempted late invade from Ocean last time around, only getting the 1 ward. You can see the pings on it to the pixel brush right over there for APA and Breezy. Maybe they want to step forward, see if they can get a little bit more vision for themselves.
Yeah, nothing surprising here so far in this level 1. But just taking a step back in this one, not much has changed from Team Ocean's goals from last game to this game. But if they can continue to keep get the early advantages that they had, and they've been getting some early advantages in the games that were off stream as well, and just being able to start the fight. So I love the adaptation here. Sure, last game you had the Thresh, but it really is just straightforward, and it made it very easy for Team Infernal to just play around. This time around, I want to see what Breezy can do in the Rakan. He's been a strong support throughout this event, and so on the Rakan pick, I have a lot of confidence.
Great playmaker as well. The Thresh, you saw how many lanterns he was using to help reposition his team. The picks that he was able to get with death sentences as well on targets like Winter, like Kyle. The only difference here is onto Rakan, into Morgana. It's a lot harder to actually feel confident diving in.
So the biggest change into this game is that Lee Sin is taking topside camps. I wonder if this is known that he isn't in this invade. So this is going to be 2 camps that he's taking away from Nidalee. If she is pathing without knowing, then she just loses so much experience to start this one off. And
Looking
I think
at
that's
it.
going to be the case.
Yeah.
Because even if she were to walk right now to the enemy blue side, Lee Sin has the chance to straight up just match her. So yeah, Silly Shots is going to be behind this game.
You hate to see it, don't you? It's just one of those things you're like, even getting baited in by the wolves that were left up by Chad. He's like, I'll take Gromp and Blue. You'll have no idea. You'll waste all this time on the top half, and
Sad.
there it is.
Yeah. Maybe his mind's playing tricks on me. Maybe I got to check myself. No, he already knows.
He knows.
He's already pretty well aware.
He's already right away pathing, saying, all right, we've got the push in mid. Let's try to see if we can pinch Chad or even rotate top.
Oh, they see an angle on a PCL.
Asked for this last game, didn't I? I said level 3 APA Aurelion Soul. Going to be the dash in from PCL with Ignite ticking away, but they didn't get the stun to land on him, so PCL will be fine.
Yeah, just a ghost from him. He's going to probably have to TP back up top lane. And Lee Sin is backing. Oh, going straight towards bot lane. In fact, canceling this.
Are you going to go for it? Of course he is. First blood. Silly Shots underneath the turret solo.
Not even traded away, too. So Silly Shots is able to somehow get back the disadvantages that he had. And all it was is just hoping, praying that he can get something. And he did. So being able to get a pick on a PCL is going to really help out.
This has given me a lot of deja vu, though, to last game. We got this early lead already for Silly Shots here against Team Infernal. The last time, they weren't able to transition that into the win. They weren't able to finish it out. So I want to see if Silly Shots is going to be able to utilize this lead a little bit more effectively.
Thankfully, there is a ward here from PCL because PCL is in a pretty tough spot. The fact that he died in the wave when he does have a stacking wave, that Chad was pathing away from him, that's usually like nightmare fuel for top laners. But he knows that if Silly Shot stays there for too long, then that's just going to be Chad going in for an invade bot side. So overall, great play. He's able to get his wave in. And now let's see if anything is to happen here. Nothing. And that's just Chad coming out with a big lead, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Got the Scuttlecraft bot lane, triple buff start. We'll feel fine even though first blood was picked up by Silly Shots. It's not the end of the world if you're Chad. Now it's Lee Sin. Now they've got your recalls off. You've got the Iron Spike whip that you can take now into a gank early on and utilize this Lee Sin gank power.
Early vision's been good from PCL. Not only warding off the play
last
here
game too.
True. Very true. So like now you get an idea if Silly Shots ever is to come up towards the top side of the map. So it's going to give him a good amount of protection. The wave is coming into him now.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit easier now for PCL to feel more confident against Concept. Silly Shots sees that people are entering his jungle. It is Winter and Chad now taking away more of the wolves. This time will be Chad's.
Take a look. I mean, we're in fog right now, but you see both Rakan and APA are coming in to defend this play.
They're getting a little bit of damage. It's going to be the Predator pop. PCL is going to be the first one here from the top lane to be able to show up. The flash away from Chad. He's burning to the Ignite, the shield to keep him alive. The hookshot body block, but it's the spear to pick up the kill onto Chad with PCL now dashing over the wall. The follow-up. Nice fear came in from Strumpus to try to keep PCL alive. The blast cone 2 to help survive.
Yeah, so PCL should be safe. Also, the wave is thinned out topside, so I don't think it... Actually, no, they are just going to go in for a dive here.
Yeah, they've got PCL almost at 50% health. Does have at least the stack up of Snip Snip to be able to utilize with the dash in. He's going to get a lot of damage. This Concept was taking the turret the entire time. TP from Strumpus scares away Silly and Concept, so no dive completed. But PCL still low.
Yeah, but I think you're happy here if you're Team Ocean. You got TP.
They've caught Concept too.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, Concept might have to try to sack on to the turret. The ult miss from
execute?
Strumpus, and it's an execute.
Okay! Not only is Strumpus going to be denied the mid lane wave, couldn't even get the kill on towards him. So, yeah, that's a little wild one.
Yeah, he tried to even using the ult on that one too, so that he can get Concept. But Concept, you know what? Props to him. I thought he actually took some damage from PCL, but I think he waited out just right along.
Yeah, so now in terms of just gold, Ocean's happy. This is just a great recovery from Silly Shots where, yeah, sure, you lost your two camps up top lane, but you made a play happen towards PCL. You also defended the play when they're trying to go for your Wolf camp. Great job towards Breezy and APA to come in with a strong reaction. So now it's just 2 kills in the pockets of Silly Shots. He's ready to go.
I mean, this is what happened last time, too.
Yeah.
They were able to get Silly Shots onto this huge lead, and it was Infernal who slowed down the game well enough so they could then win in the team fights. And here, we look at the two teams, and you favored Infernal's team fight a little bit more than Ocean's, but still Ocean, with the lead, their team fight is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, they got a lot of great pick in their competition, and they have good picks for just team fighting. We already saw what Breezy was able to do with the two-man knock-up in the previous fight. So let's see if they're the ones going to be starting up on Infernal. I mean Ocean. So Ocean's going to be picked up from Infernal, and then towards the top side of the map, I imagine that's going to be Ocean trying to fight for Rift Herald.
I will say that's very confusing.
It is.
That Infernal is getting the Ocean Dragon, while Ocean are looking for the pick on top side, even though Infernal are getting the Dragon named after them.
I hate this. I hate the naming scheme, but it is what it is, guys.
Just wait till Chemtech and Hextech come in next year.
Amazing.
You know it's going to happen. We'll see it. We'll see it one day, but right now, it's not the day. Instead, it's going to be APA clearing out these minion waves mid lane, Winter on the other side. Threaten APA in case he starts moving along onto other lanes.
Yeah, and in general, once again, this is the first time we're seeing Vex today in games. But like just really uninteractive, just completely shoves out wave pretty easily. If you ever try to engage, like an example would be Concept, you can just stack up your fear, use your W, and you got your engage as she's able to, disengage as she's feared away.
Yeah, very similar to Aurelion Soul in many ways.
True.
Just clear out the minion waves, try to make plays elsewhere. The only difference is that APA is the one getting those small advantages initially.
Yeah.
With the Predator 2, can move around the map really quickly, while Strumpus still has to wait it out, clear out the minion waves, be a far more patient player, like we saw in Game 1.
I like the fact that he did pick up Magic Pen boots, just tier 2 boots, because you do actually stack up your fear a lot faster based off your movement speed just walking around. Yep. So that's another positive one. Of course, there's the Magic Pen that helps as well. So there we go, gold lead right now, just a slight lead in favor of Team Ocean. They're also right now, I would imagine, would want to play towards Concept a little bit more. He's going to have a stacking wave, so I imagine that they want to use that to find a play on towards PCL. They've been doing it a little bit frequently this game. Try and double up on it.
Whereas last game, Infernal played a lot more towards the top side of the map. They tried making a couple plays like that here.
Yeah.
But where do they really need to succeed in this game if they want to mitigate this early lead Ocean's already gotten for themselves?
I would actually want them to play around mid a little bit more, because you saw what happened with APA in the previous one with Aurelion Sol. Even though you would imagine it to be hard for them to play 2v2s with Asol and Nidalee, they just had a humongous lead on the Nidalee player. And so Silly Shot is in a similar position, but I actually quite like how Vex and Lee Sin play as a duo. So it's going to be a little harder for APA to survive those type of fights. He's going to have his flash up in just a second, so he should be a little bit more ready for fights like these. The dive's possible here.
No mana for Strumpus. It's going to be really difficult. The personal space used just to get a little bit of personal space and a TP from PCL. Concept is already out. Same with Silly Shots. They've just gotten the TP out of PCL, and they will retreat. Yeah,
it might be a little bit of an overreaction, just because I don't think you need to use flash like that. You're in between your second turret there. And also, you already have the TP as a response from PCL. I think Strumpus was safe, but no better to be secure than sorry.
Oh, and we already see that APA looking for another play. This time it's the top lane. But Infernal are wise to this. You've played against the Aurelion Soul already once today.
Yeah.
You've learned what he wants to do pretty quickly. It's just move around the map, never really interact with his opponent mid lane.
Man, this is annoying. They're just not allowing PCL to get to lane here.
But look at Strumpus taking her out too. Just looking to see if there is going to be that dive coming in from Ocean. Maybe we're going to be able to counteract that and get themselves that early lead, utilizing that Vex that you had been wanting to see.
So a little bit of the minion wave going to be denied out here. And also Silly Shots does have Rift Herald. I was thinking that it would be used topside, but great opportunity. Might be able to get full turret here. There's going to be no response from Chad.
Is it going to be full or is it going to be near?
Just a little bit. Close enough.
Yeah, there it is. That's what I was just wondering. I'm like, it's really on that like teetering line of where it could have gone and actually been the full plate, but that's still a lot of gold picked up for APA, for Silly Shots, keeping this lead from the mid-jungle duo in both Silly Shots and APA over that of Chad and Strumpus.
Now you're going to see both teams just taking their bases for the next dragon. That would be second dragon for Team Infernal, and it's going to be a mountain, so it is going to be really helpful for this composition. But Team Ocean getting their bases pretty early, I think they're going to be the ones that are going to be able to fight through mid first.
I swear, Raz, if it ends up being an Infernal Soul this game and Ocean get it,
we're not going to talk about it.
It's going to happen because you've already talked about Infernal getting the Ocean Soul,
Yes.
and you know it's going to be Ocean getting the Infernal Soul.
I'm going to try my hardest to just not say team names. I think that's my solution here. All right?
Then what are you going to call them?
The lads.
Both teams. How do we differentiate? It's got to be the gang and the lads.
The boys and the lads.
There we go. The
There
boys
we
and the
go.
lads. All right, we got the boys and the lads. Wait,
Yes.
who's who?
Okay, now it's getting even more confusing. We'll go back to the team names.
All right. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's get back into this, though. As right now, Winter is already on the warpath, rotating alongside that of Chad, trying to see if they can make a play towards the bottom half of the map, even calling down Strumpus so they can control this pit of Dragon.
All right, let's see if they can make that play on APA.
Predator pop, APA. It's going to be the flash away, trying to get distance with 4 members here, but unfortunately the flash already burned, no way over the wall. That's a lot of damage coming in from Infernal, and Strumpus will easily execute that Dragon.
Yeah, that's just tough for APA there. His jungler was in the top side. I think they were trying to just play to trade sides. They knew that Infernal had full control there, but gets caught out. Dead. Let's see. It looks like they're trying to just defend the top lane play now.
Oh, PCL, I love the dodge and I love the engage. Shut down, gifted over to PCL, and that's going to be the Shadow Surge over the wall with an ultimatum used too. Concept, he's got nowhere to go. Snip, snip, double kill, PCL.
They get everything. Not only were they able to get the kill on APA, they got the Dragon, they denied the play top side, and got 2 kills. This is Infernal's game now to lose. Even though still a small advantage there for Ocean, great plays from Infernal.
And I called it Infernal Soul on the map.
I hate it.
I told you it was going to happen, but this time it looks like it's going to actually be Infernal getting the Infernal Soul, because they have the lead. They've got 2 Dragons, great play top lane right there, getting 2 kills for PCL so that he can have more control over Concept this game.
Yeah, now PCL is, once again, in a great position this one. Able to deny a few minions, but taking a look at this one, trying to go back up top side, and Vex was hovering. I think that one's the really important one. He knows he's not needed bot side, and just helps PCL not only get back to lane, but with a few kills on top of it.
I love that. The resets you get from Vex to follow it up, waited for the ultimatum so he wasn't knocked back too, and Concept was just dead meat after that.
Kind of mentioned it, alluded to it a little earlier on, just the resets that you have as Vex after a kill with your ultimate. It's just crazy. The team fight power on that one, if you have a winning fight, you just snowball. The chasing power is there from this champion, and so this is something you have to be aware about. If you don't feel confident in a specific fight versus a Vex, you have to trade. That was the intent, but it didn't work out for Team Ocean.
And now they have, even though still retaining the gold lead, they're now put at a disadvantage. They've lost control around the Herald pit. They're trying to fight back in, but already Strumpus Winter here to help out Chad. PCL on the other side takes the attention of Concept with the Shadow Surge and the blow-up damage onto Silly Shots.
Really confusing there from Team Ocean. APA was bot lane, and so maybe their goal was just to try and buy some time and hold them, but yeah, that's really risky. And so while APA is able to deny a few minion waves here, this is just Infernal starting to run roughshod.
Right, they almost had to play mid lane too. On to Good Boy and Breezy, forced to use the quickness just to escape. This turret should fall. Infernal, full control on this map. This game does not look like game 1. This time, they have gotten the early game their way.
That's why I would say great work from Strumpus so far this series. Game 1, just an insane performance on his Lux. And then game 2 goes on towards the Vex and is having a great early game performance. Even better early game performance, I'd say.
Yeah, it's looking great. And this is why we were talking about Vex before. We were talking about the power this champion has and why we expect to see it so often today.
Yeah, but also just the fact that a lot of the concepts of denying plays and things, he's aware of that. So,
true.
As I said, he's like,
works for
okay,
him.
exactly. I don't need to go bot lane. I'm going to help out top side. Let's see if PCL can stay alive a little longer. It's going to be a 1v2.
Well, PCL, he's getting revenge on Concept for last game, where Concept was the one who was able to duel him in the 1v1s. Now it's PCL throwing that damage right back in the face of Camille.
That's a lot to deal with. With that early lead, already has Mythic charged up too. It's going to be tough for Team Ocean to really deal with him, and that's going to be the real problem for me, is that you're losing out in overall team fights in the bot side of the map. You're trying, they had numbers advantage, Rakan was even coming up slow too, but they didn't feel confident fighting the PCL, so don't know what angle they're going to have here now.
Well, before I talked about how when I looked at Team Infernal, they didn't really have that front line. But you kind of talked about Gwen being one of those deceptive champions, you know, having the zone to block away a lot of things where you're not actually able to engage onto her. And we are seeing right now how Infernal are utilizing that in this early game to deny everything that Ocean wants to try.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even get to see the best of it. Let's see if APA can try for anything bot side.
We'll see it soon.
Yeah, so the fact that we're able to see what she's able to do top lane isolated is great. See what happens when the general team fights start. So far, Ocean just don't want to fight into that. So they're making an active effort to move away. A good way to push them out in the bot lane. Winter taking a lot of damage on the back half of that one. So they're not going to use Rift Herald just yet.
No, right now Ocean are going back to the game plan of picks. Try to see who they can find out. You can see the damage that Sillyshant's has onto these members so long as the spears land and you have Breezy behind you. But the problem with that is eventually we're going to get to a point where Infernal never separate. Right here, it is a 3v3 fight. Look at how much attention Chad got that entire time. They've got the root with the dark binding, the curtain call open, so PCL jumps on a Good Boy. The sniper was there for Good Boy to be able to take him down, but Strumpet with the Shadow Surge, he's got the resets, looking to re-engage, but he missed it. Has to wait until he flashes forward with the Shadow Sneak, double kill, and Concept soon to fall. They've got 3 for just the 1 life for Chad.
That was always going to be a risky fight, but they thought they had Chad initially. Chad did eventually die, but stayed alive long enough. Also, Winter just keeping them interested with his ultimate to make it so that the people can come in at a flank.
Yep.
So, great performance from Strumpist. Even better performance from both Winter and Chad to keep him interested.
We saw this from Chad last game too. He might not have had the most impressive scoreline, but what he was able to accomplish for the team, the attention he got from Ocean, allows Infernal to play with such aggression.
Yeah, let's see here. Ocean does have tempo here to go for the objective first, but TP coming through from Strumpist. He's a little bit denied from the play, so yeah, Winter, this is just good team play.
Yeah, it is. You just force off Sillyshant so they can look to see if they can get that 3rd dragon, their first Infernal dragon of the game.
Yeah, and PCL is still lagging behind a little bit, so if Ocean want to go for this objective, I do think they need to rush it.
They have to, especially with the Rift Herald pop bot lane. That's going to easily take down that turret and might even get a secondary charge.
Yeah, let's see what the goal is going to be here. They do know that Gwen's on the flank, so maybe they're sending 3 members up to see if they can push her out, but yeah, this should be Infernal's.
We saw this the last time, though, with the Baron, where we said it should have been Infernals, and Ocean have forced out Infernal from this dragon. Jumps back in, though. Chad says, not a second time. The fight into the backline. The kill for Strumpus. He's unstoppable. PCL, too, is huge. Double kill once more for Strumpus with the resets. Didn't connect that time, but Good Boy. He is snipped down by PCL.
Good Boy and APA couldn't do nothing with PCL just straight in front of them, and that's a triple kill for Strumpus. Alert, he has 7 kills this game, and he's only getting stronger.
He had 12 last game, too, Raz. Trumpist right now is making a name for himself and showing everyone 22 stacks. We're 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, he's got a big brain, too. 22 chapters in that book. He's insanely strong right now, and it's only going to be harder. So, yeah, you're dealing with now 3 dragons on Team Infernal, and you're going to be dealing with them having Baron. Let's see what they can get done with this Baron buff.
We'll see, and we were talking between looking at these 2 teams, what we wanted to see, what we wanted to talk about when it came to this game too. And at first it looked like Ocean were going for the same playbook. They played early, they got the leads for Sillyshants, but Infernal have answered back so well in this early game that they now have this inside track onto the Baron. Even with the curtain call opened up wide, 5 members looking for PCL. That is a lot of attention he's taken. He is shut down by Concept, but they still have 4 members with the buff. Even though Kyle took a lot of damage, they're going to be able to survive for now, getting away with the dark blinding once more. Who does connect? Nobody. Didn't hit them. Still the chase is there. That's a lot of damage onto Breezy coming in from Strumpus, who's golden and leaves Winter out, and Kyle too, but he's still alive. The re-engaged Strumpus barely takes one with them, but the fight at Ocean, it's a turnaround. We've seen a Baron before, and we see it again by them.
Saving Private Kyle. Kyle didn't have flash and was stuck in the pit, so they stayed longer while PCL was just...
You ditch him, in my opinion. You leave him out. You say, sorry, bud, you're on your own.
Yeah, Mr. Hindsight.
Hey, you know what? That's what's great about being here.
True.
Anyways,
we're out here in the peanut gallery.
Right, that's our job. We're allowed to say this kind of stuff, and we look at this entire thing with hindsight and see that at first it looked great for Infernal.
Yeah, it took a lot of time for them to finish this objective with PCL going for Gromp here, so he was just trying to buy time, but they realized, yeah, Kyle needs to get out of the pit. He's in a tough spot, and with how much time PCL is buying for them, they thought they had an opportunity to get him out of there. But nope, APA is a fast one, and the utility Ocean has is able to chase them down.
And that's the crazy thing here, is that they're able to chase them down. They get these shutdowns. They get these big picks for key and critical members for Oceans that now feel so much more empowered. Like, getting that kill onto Strumpus is massive.
Yeah, and that's every member dead from Infernal, so no Baron buff is going to be available. Let's see what's happening live now. Infernal is back on the map first, it seems. So they're going to be able to have push here and set up for the next dragon. It's going to be 2 minutes away, so Ocean does have a lot of time to buy to try and take the vision away from Team Infernal. But yeah, that could have been the game ender. Another positive, though, for Team Ocean is that 17 stacks now for Strumpus. He did lose quite a few of that just based off the last death.
But still 17 stacks.
Still a lot of stacks.
That's how far ahead he's been in this game. And unless they can continue to cut out and rip apart that book, Strumpus is going to be that much more scary. He goes golden, but they can't follow up. It was the black shield on top of him. Concept into the back line. They've taken out Kyle first. With APA going golden, the curtain calls opened up wide, waiting it out. Strumpus still being patient, waiting to get the damage onto Concept. They can get one kill, but Chad trades his life as well. Good Boy takes a chunk of damage. Same with PCL. He's rooted, but nobody can follow that up just yet. Strumpus, come on. When do you want to re-engage? You got the fear up, but he doesn't have the ult, so he backs out, knowing that they've only traded 2 for 1.
The pendulum is shifting again. That's all the vision that Infernal was able to place down here, cleared out, and the next dragon might be going to Ocean. This game has been wild, and that fight, you have to give APA credit for that one. Yeah. Insta-Zonias from Strumpus, and so he had to back away, and Infernal had to protect him, and so there down goes Kyle. And Ocean's able to take the fight.
Because they put the black shield onto Strumpus. He tried to get away as best he could. And that left Kyle, even though he had to flash up, out to dry because he got CC'd locked by Breezy.
So now we're in a wild one once again. This game is crazy. And Team Infernal, I wonder if they want to trade away from it. They're all playing through mid lane, so they want to fight for what is their soul. If they end up taking this one, that's Infernal Soul for Team Infernal.
And there's still 2,000 gold please for Team Infernal all the while. Most of that's on to Strumpus, but Winter, he is found out and executed immediately. The damage onto Chad too. Not feeling confident to kick in. Instead, it's going to be Concept on top of him with Kyle again. Split off again. Killed off 3 members alive. And it's Breezy re-engaging for the team with everybody from Infernal on the run out for the hills the best they can. But PCL dives back in with Needlework doing a lot of damage. Shadow Surge. Strumpus, do you follow it up? He waits it out. He had the fear, but did not feel confident going into 5 members of Ocean.
Yeah, I mean, they made a full cross-map chase there, and they don't feel confident playing into their comp. So you know what? Let's get straight back, take the Infernal Dragon for ourselves. Just be happy with what is a scrappy game that we're fighting back from.
Right, that's the crazy thing, is that we are now having that pendulum nearly fully at equilibrium between the two teams. That 2,000 gold lead, now less than 1,000 for Infernal. The Dragon taken by Ocean to deny the soul for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, and the boost in DPS for Ocean, even if it's just a single Dragon, is a welcome one. They have a lot of damage within their composition. Silly Shot, of course, is already just nuking people. So this is going to be really tough for Infernal. We'll say, though, it's just going to be Ocean for the rest of the game playing on a knife's edge. If they just lose that one fight, that's Infernal Soul over to Team Infernal. That's Baron. It's going to be coming up, and they're already now clearing out vision. So let's see if they can nail this one down.
Same thing could be said for Infernal. That one bad fight, and it was all over. They ended up winning that game. Ocean, they can turn the tables completely.
True. True. Very fair. So let's see if we get a repeat of the first game. Hope not.
Well, I mean, I kind of hope so. We've talked about this before. Play-by-play prefers all the crazy, chaotic gameplay style that we've been seeing out of both Ocean and Infernal. But right now, it's just waiting it out, seeing who's going to be able to fight over the next objective.
Yeah, so of course, as you already can see, there is a pause happening right now. Hopefully, we can get that resolved pretty damn quickly. But at the moment, it's going to be Infernal actually leading this series 1-0. And if they can pick this one up, series over, and they're in a really good position to do just that. They have Soul Point, they have positioning around Baron.
But Raz, so was Ocean last game.
Hey, I will say, last game, Team Ocean didn't have a surefire way to engage. You have a Thresh, and that was just about it. You can play around topside. If they, of course, did a lot better of a job in synchronizing waves, playing through mid lane wave as well, because I think they let the wave get away from them a few times. That's a lesson they've learned from the first game.
You hope so, at least.
And, of course, Team Infernal being in the position of power this one, would have learned, of course, just from the observing.
And from being the ones getting back into the game
Yes.
and winning that out. Well, right now, it's getting towards that knife's edge right now, where either team can tip the scales in their favor. And honestly, the fact that they were able to win the fight, get rid of all the Baron off every member of Team Infernal, allows Ocean a lot of time to continue to scale up. I mean, Camille's just going to get scarier. Aurelion Sol is also going to get a lot more damage, be that utilitarian for the team. You talked about silly shots, the amount of damage he has from those spears landing.
Yeah, and so just as an update for everybody out there, it's just going to be a PC connection issue right now. Hopefully we can get that resolved. I know just us being fly on the wall throughout, it is an online environment for those players. I think during scrims and also for game day, there were pauses just because of, like, let's say Discord being a little iffy at times. So things like that can
I had
happen.
That issue. When I was listening in, sometimes Discord was like, yeah, you don't get to hear anything, so you just watch the game for like 5 minutes waiting for Discord to reconnect. It happens. It happens.
It does.
So hopefully we'll be able to get that resolved soon. Just a couple more minutes. You'll have to deal with our beautiful faces, mostly his, because we all know that. But going into how this game, you take this. They're dubs for sure. I'm actually really curious because in this game, I talked about how Ocean had to go back to a pick potential style. That's been their gameplay. We look back in game 1. That's what they did. And here, even though they have better team fight, they've been finding those proper picks to then fully engage 4v5.
Yeah, I genuinely think that Team Ocean's compositions in both games have been harder to execute. Mostly game 1. Mostly game 1. A lot of the times if you end up having compositions around like Golden Glue on the desk mentioned it, just like if you have Aurelion Sol in Italy, like that kind of composition is like you're playing off tempo pretty consistently. Being able to find fights is harder without just like easy engage in CC, but they're playing really well around it. I think that, and that's the beauty of this event, is that they're just trying to play as well as they possibly can, learn specific concepts that make them ready for competition, for Academy, for LCS. So a lot of the times it's like, okay, we're happy, we're fine playing harder to execute compositions. If we play well around it, then for the scouts out there, that actually makes us look better.
True, and we already see that despite having difficult compositions in game 1 and in game 2, they're finding proper fights. They're finding proper picks into Infernal, who we look at their composition. They got Vex. They got Strumpus. 9-1 right now. He's back up to, I think, 21 stacks on that Magi's.
Yeah.
He's been so great on his patience. The amount of times he just waits it out for the perfect time to engage. So you look at game 1 and how he was able to do that. Here in game 2, he's doing pretty much the same.
Yeah, and Emily mentioned this on the desk too. Just like it's a surprise to a lot of us because the competition for this event is really strong, I would say. Strongest I've seen in just scouting grounds in general, not only proving grounds making amateur teams a lot more viable option, a lot more competitive, but a lot of the players we see here, literally, great example, Chad. Just won Academy with 100 Thieves because he was able to participate during the playoffs run for his team. So a lot of these players know these concepts and are only just getting better and more advanced on these things. And so coming back to it, Strumpus, I thought, is able to perform well versus today and during the week versus some really top-tier talent. So good stuff overall.
And it's also great because there are some familiar names from previous scouting grounds. Strumpus being one of them, Winter, PCL.
Yeah.
They've been a part of previous scouting grounds. But this time it feels like they've really leveled up. They've really grown throughout their career. Proving grounds being a great boon to how they're able to succeed throughout the year. Learn a lot from higher competition throughout all of amateur to now be here on this big stage. Try to get these scouts to notice them so they can try to see if they can finally crack into the Academy scene.
And here we are, back in the game. So PC connectivity issues are done. Just fold it away. Oh, let's see if the fight can work out well for them.
I was about to say, we jump right back into a team fight. APA split from the team, sacrificing himself more than likely. He's going golden, and he's shut down with the kill on the other side coming in from Strumpus. They can re-engage. They've taken down 3 members cleanly. The Baron is up, and this time, it seems there's nothing Ocean can do to stop him.
Yeah, what an assassination from Strumpus, right? Because while the rest of his team was taking down APA, he's like, I know where this Jin's at.
Yep.
Eviscerates him with both thumbs up. So now 3 members down from Ocean. You're expecting Infernal to be able to pick this one up.
Unless there's a miracle for Ocean, there is no way Infernal lose this. They've got 25 stacked Magi, Strumpus, Vex. They've got the full control over the map with 3 members just respawning on the side of Team Ocean. They can reset and this time come out of base with everyone having the Baron.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough one for Team Ocean to come back from. Because in the previous game, Infernal was able to come back through what is great playmaking. Let's see if they can get this pick.
Oh, they canceled it barely. I think it was the Ignite that actually canceled the back there from PCL, who turns his attention onto Breezy. Concept is a level down, so they have to be careful. No, I guess with all 5 members, there's no way PCL survived.
Yeah, they were really scared about the 2v1 that was probable from PCL, so waited for the rest of them to come into position while Infernal was taking their bases. So they weren't in position to really trade. Sure, Strumpus is able to get bot lane, but now Team Ocean's going to be able to defend the inhibitor. Good pick. 30-second death timer on PCL. Well done from Ocean.
Small wins. Small wins. You're taking these, getting rid of one more Baron off the heads of Team Infernal. If you could then find a fight soon before PCL respawns, that might be even bigger for them, especially with 2 minutes left until we have a potential Infernal soul for Infernal.
Ooh, and that's a Void Staff picked up from Strumpus back from base. So he is at an insanely strong pace. Great shot from Silly Shots there.
Maybe that's one more. He might just kill Winter.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty close to it. And he's in position for the leap. He has Flash too, so that is definitely something that Winter should be afraid of.
But no Horizon focus there. I've seen that a couple times where literally we'll go that just to be able to one-shot people from range. But even still, Winter is low enough that if he gets caught by one spear, jump in comes from Silly Shots, they can take him out. But now that PCL has respawned and TP'd back into mid lane, Ocean have to go back to the base and feel the power, the might, and pressure of Team Infernal.
Yeah, we don't have synchronized waves here from Infernal. This shouldn't turn into a kill, but it also shouldn't turn into a turret from Infernal either. Well, actually, this could be the way, but Kyle is really low here.
Oh, Chad. He was going for the hero play onto Silly Shots, but he has to jump out, and that's going to be the Moonlight with 3-man lock-in coming in from Kyle, waiting it out while PCL fights with Concept. Concept is winning that 1v1 with a 2-level discrepancy against PCL. One more slash of the scissor legs, and it's going to be a tactical protocol kill for Silly Shots.
I'm getting deja vu from the last game. There's another chance here. Infernal is in a position to go for bot inhib, but a great pick from Team Ocean is able to lengthen this one out. And now our eyes go towards the next Infernal Dragon.
25 seconds left until that spawns too, and with a lead and without a TP for PCL, Ocean can easily take this, but they've got to be careful. There is that flank. Winter threatening the side lanes, waiting to see if they can find an angle for Strumpus.
Yeah, let's see. That's going to be Baron buff now officially gone. Next Baron's in 3 minutes. So if you're Infernal, yeah, they're not even going to take the fight.
Right. They just take the turret topside. They get themselves another tier 2 turret. They actually don't even go for it. They want to get control of tempo mid lane, pushing back the minion waves and getting themselves set up as best as possible.
There you go. So the turret does naturally fall there. They didn't want to.
Yeah, no need then.
Exactly. And so they just, in the end, didn't want to take an unnecessary fight. They would lose quite a bit off of it. They didn't have control of the objective either. So it was a smart play. And now we look towards the next Infernal Dragon that's coming in 4 minutes. Baron pressure that Infernal does currently have.
You're seeing here. Even looking at Strumpus, this guy is big enough to be considered 2 champions at this point. 10-1 on Vex, 4 items completed. It's getting rough.
That's why now it's all in the playmaking, because if you have the DPS easily, my eyes go towards Chad. He can get a nice ward hop kick like he was able to do in the previous game that ended up saving it for them. Or even, you'd say, maybe the pick potential that Strumpus has in a fear. But I would say the most consistent way would be Chad's kick. It would be a pretty good way to start this one off. But APA is doing a good job just keeping priority mid. No one wants to be anywhere near that Comet.
That is a big old galaxy right there. Yeah. Every time he goes to base, probably just can reset, clear out the minion wave, then rotate somewhere else. We got 1.5 minutes until Baron will spawn. As Infernal, they've gotten themselves that control back, 4,500 gold over Ocean from the previous few fights, where it had got nearly back to even for Ocean.
There we go. Rise and Focus finished now from Strumpus. So yeah, he's at full build. He's huge. And now it's really just now a focus on Kyle. that is now working towards that Infinity Edge. He's able to pick that one up. Then Infernal, that we said at the beginning would be the team that has a scaling advantage, would just be in a strong position in any fight.
So for Ocean, they could focus on the Kyle if they want to, but if you leave Strumpus out alone in the world, in the wilderness, we saw what happens. He becomes an assassin, and Good Boy is not going to be able to fight back against that. So Ocean waiting it out, pushing back some of the vision control like they had done previously. The ebb and flow between them and Team Infernal around that Baron.
While Ocean's been doing a good job stopping Infernal from pushing through mid, I think Infernal's understood that they're just trying to use timers on PCL, bot lane push, to just feel confident. I think this wave, right, they should feel pretty confident contesting it, because PCL, while he's not there, has TP and he's in fog.
Yeah.
There's no reason for Ocean to feel too confident here.
And that's why they're not stepping up too far. They're using Breezy and APA together to move up. They both got flash. They can easily escape even with that Zhonya's on top of APA. He's not too threatened by Infernal, so they can clear out some of the vision, push back against Infernal, and wait it out.
Now they see PCL on wave, so as you can see, like, the control ward for PCL in his road from bot to mid has been helping him quite a lot, and now someone needs to respond to this push here, and it's going to be Concept.
Concept has TP2, could easily join into this fight. With the Scuttle Crab taken by Ocean, they'll have full vision of Infernal as they try to set up around the objective. Can even force out a bit, trying to see if they can bait out the TP of PCL, but PCL is right there in the wings.
Yeah, I was a little concerned there. Oh, that's a missed ulti from Kyle.
Did they notice? That's going to be the big thing.
They for sure saw that. He was going straight for APA. If APA didn't see it, he'd be blind.
Hey, sometimes you miss those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. They noticed that. They're playing a little bit more aggressive. They're even sending Breezy out by himself a little bit further.
And so that was my concern, is that I thought that was a good fight for Infernal. It was PCL that was in a flank position. If Kyle had hit that, pretty sure that was Gravitum, that he would have been able to get a stun. So then that would have been a good fight. But now we have Infinity Edge there for Kyle. He's in a great position for any fights. Stopwatch picked up from PCL, so next fight that happens, I think they're in a strong position to win. 4K gold advantage. Infernal's going to be the focus.
And Infernal are just waiting out that timer. It's not a very long timer at this point for that Moonlight Vigil out of Kyle. You wait it out. The only difference is going to be what guns he has available. You talked about having the Gravitum, a really important one. Past 2 of the 3 fights that they've had were based off Kyle engaging with that Moonlight.
Yeah, and now Kyle, he actually stayed in base a little longer, got now another stopwatch. That's 2 stopwatches for Infernal, because this is the game-winning fight.
At least for them, it would be Ocean have a long mountain to climb still if they want to get this game back so they can win. 35 minutes in, not nearly as long as that 47 game 1 that we saw, but Chad looking for the kick. They got the kill into silly shots, and APA, he flashed over the wall to survive. PCL has already cut off Good Boy and Breezy with a lot of damage coming in from the needlework, and Concept interrupted by the Black Shield. They've got the Soul Shackles, and here comes Strumpus. He's on a rampage, taking down Ocean left and right. Getting the damage on top of him, but the snipe comes in from Good Boy, getting a lot of damage onto Chad. One more 4th shot, it's onto Strumpus, the key critical member. But Strumpus goes back in with the Black Shield, waiting it out. The TP in from PCL behind, 3v4 with Strumpus going golden. They have to get the kill, but he flashed away, and Chad's back in. PCL is full of health, but Strumpus has TP. He can reset the fight too. They're waiting it out. PCL's got a full health bar to work with, but doesn't Chad or Winter. They're looking for the root and a lot of damage, but nobody's there just yet. They've got the TP. Strumpus is on the other side, and he's back full health with the Dragons now started up by Infernal.
Remember, APA is down for this one, so they're just going to try and play for this.
Concept's low. Hook shot over the wall. He survives. Black Shield onto PCL with 50% left onto the Dragon. Chad is focused all his attention there. Winter's got the attention of Concept with PCL taken away. Good Boy. They've got themselves a soul, but PCL is golden. They chase down Good Boy and Breezy. Silly Shots is here on the other side. The spear is blocked by the hollowed grounds, and with Chad nearby, there is no way out of this fight. With the jump, with the kick, waiting it out. There it is on top of Breezy, but they don't need it. Instead, they want to reset with the team.
What a crazy fight off that one. And that was Infernal playing on hard mode. Kyle was targeted. Ain't nobody wanted to body block for him. Chad was in position, but didn't expect the damage coming in from Good Boy's ultimate. And so you just had an AD carryless fight that they were able to still win out.
And they get the Infernal Soul for Team Infernal, so we don't have to worry about the naming shenanigans we had talked about
Thank
before.
God.
It's all easy peasy from here, but the game still is afoot with a 4,000 gold lead for Infernal and the Baron up. You can see the pings coming in from Ocean. They want to fight around this.
Yeah, I hope you're well rested because we're straight going for another fight. Ocean, reasonably so, must feel desperate. If they can find a play with Breezy, that would be their way in.
Well, with an Infernal Soul on Infernal and the third Baron on the line, they've got a lot of damage onto Winter, but the fourth crit shot did not hit. Instead, he went golden. The spear will take out Winter.
There we go. He was afraid of that fourth bullet coming in from Good Boy, but put himself in a position for silly shots to get him on cooldown. So good job on that one. These are long death timers, 35 seconds for Winter. And so that's going to make it a lot easier for Ocean to play for Baron.
But look at Ocean. They can't start it just yet. They're too afraid, timid, waiting for Concept to rejoin the team.
What the play is, if they can wrestle the vision away from Infernal, and they can get another pick. You can see from the damage Chad is already laid out. Infernal Soul is really helping out this team.
As it is going to be Chad at least getting a little bit of the aggro from Baron to scare off Ocean for now.
There we go. But now this is Ocean having full position around mid lane. With Winter coming back up, they would have to fight for the vision up top side that Team Ocean is able to have.
And Ocean, I don't know if they can take this very quick. That's the biggest
try.
problem. They're on top of it, and everyone just recalled from Infernal.
So remember, APA's positioning here is really important. Looks like they have enough damage to pick it up, but if anyone tries to contest, they will see them.
Shadow Surge is up for Shumpus. He can re-engage, he can join in, but it's going to be the Baron picked up by Ocean. They bail out. They've gotten away with the robbery.
This feels like a best of 5.
Yes, this does. Yes, this does.
Last one went to 40+ minutes. This one will easily be able to hit that with how resilient Team Ocean has been here. Strumpus is huge. He's itching for a fight, but at this point, the added gold that he's getting is just straight up useless, other than maybe an elixir to help him out.
Yeah, pretty much that's all he's got left to buy for himself. Maybe even sell the boots at this rate, just get full damage, because you're going to re-engage with the Shadow Surge anyways.
It's a tough call, of course, but they can get this one. Elder would probably be the call here for Team Infernal. That was really close.
That was. I thought that actually hit Kyle. I really thought that if silly shots had hit that they would follow up, burst out Kyle before anybody could react on Infernal side.
Well, APA is now forcing Team Infernal's hand, pushing up bot lane. What's up?
How many games do you get to watch with Vigilant Ward Stoden?
I have not seen any.
Right? You don't often see that.
Yeah.
It's very rare to actually have a game where it will go long enough where people build that.
Yeah, it's definitely the case. And also, I mean, this is probably the richest we've ever seen support players in a long time with how these games have gone. Okay, well, once again,
kills go to the support, farm goes to the ADC.
I am never playing a game with you.
Yeah, you're not the only one who says that. It's okay, though, because you know what? That's, again, why I'm here. I'm here to talk about the game, to look at this, and as we have 2 minutes left until that Elder spawns. A lot of damage, and it's just the ebb and flow we've seen before. TP, though, from PCL. Look at where Concept is. He has to TP into the lane as PCL will go rampant. Onto 3 members, jumps onto silly shots, realizing that that guy, if they take him out, that is going to be a clean Elder for them.
Eviscerated. Had to use flash and still couldn't get out. And these are 50 seconds. Yeah. Elder feels pretty confident now. You can also just get your push off of mid lane. This one is Infernal's game to win.
Though, keep in mind that Silly will respawn in time for a fight around Elder. It wasn't perfectly timed out of Infernal, but it picks a pick, and you're going to be able to get control around the pit.
Just straight up confidence from Infernal. They just saw Team Ocean positioning a little bit too aggressively, with turrets being 1,000 miles in the opposite direction. And I think Concepts recognize how difficult it's going to be to play into Infernal's comp, so at least getting some side lane win con here. Taking out top lane turret, and then now just forcing Infernal to respond to him.
Getting as much gold as humanly possible, too, for that impending fight that we'll see around the Elder Dragon. The better it is for Ocean when it comes to these, even fighting from a disadvantage and winning some of these fights.
Yeah, he needs to base, though, because he doesn't have TP. Otherwise, it'd be really cute just trying to play up, seeing if he can get an endgame win con. While still being available for the fight. But no, he needs to now rotate towards the bottom side of the map. Infernal is actually the one that's a little slow here. Kyle's going to take a little bit of time to actually meet this mid lane wave, so See who ends up getting that pressure.
Still 30 seconds until the Elder's going to spawn. With Silly Shots here, all 5 members have now grouped up here in the mid lane. We've got the Nay-Ram going on.
Yeah, there we go, but it's Team Ocean in position. Breezy took a lot of damage, but yeah, thankfully, the heals from Silly Shot's going to be able to mitigate a lot what Strumpus can do. That's a pick.
But that's a huge pick onto Concept as he jumps over the wall. But Chad couldn't get the kick. It was a quickness that made sure that he couldn't do that. So they can get the pick onto the jungler, getting rid of the Guardian's Angel too. Looking for Kyle. The damage coming in from Good Boy as he kites back away from PCL. So Concept can take him out. And they've got it. Ocean are now forced off. They've got rid of Infernal with them running back towards their base. They only trade one dragon for their own dragon in the Elder.
Hey, they got a wave here too with 4 people up and alive, especially Good Boy. They might be able to play for an end here.
Are they going to? They're not. Yeah, no, they're backing out of that one. They're going for the Elder Dragon. They don't have exactly what it takes to fully end the game.
Yeah, Strumpus does have a lot of strong wave clear though, and they will not be able to respond to this Elder. 22-second death timer on these members of Infernal, so that's going to be an Elder Dragon to Ocean. Your curse is working out. Game 1, it was Infernal that was fighting back. Game 2, Ocean's able to do the same.
Well, the game is not over yet. We are 43 minutes into Game 2 of our first best of 3, but this game is still either's to win. We have a gold lead finally for Ocean, the first time since the first moments of the game when they got those good ganks from Silly Shots, but ever since then, it has been Team Infernal that have lorded supreme on the Rift.
And it's really hard for Chad to actually find a kick into what is a grouped up Team Ocean, because Breezy will always be there to defend that, right? He now doesn't have the responsibility to start fights, but it's going to make it really difficult for Team Infernal to engage on them. So things like that Warthog kick that we saw earlier, going to be really hard with that taunt arm available.
For both teams, really. If you look at how they have to engage, they're waiting for Chad to engage onto them as Team Ocean, but Ocean have Breezy, and Infernal are waiting for Breezy to engage now. Neither can do so. They are at pretty much a stalemate.
I think it's a little better here for Team Ocean because they do still have pick potential, and the DPS, the damage that Good Boy has now, they really, in my mind, don't need Breezy's ultis, at least to start the fight. But you might be forced now a little bit with PCL playing bot side and trying to force for an inhib trade. So let's see if there's going to be a response here. Yeah, it's going to be Concept coming in to match this.
But TPs are up for both top laners. Easily can they re-engage and join up with their teammates as we have about, what is that, a minute left on that Elder Dragon for Team Ocean with the Baron spawning?
With 44 minutes in, it's just a 1K goal lead for Team Ocean. So yeah, it's neck and neck. Can they do anything off of this? No.
Even though it's a long timer, when you get rooted by Morgana, not enough for Infernal to feel confident to jump on top of Breezy. Instead, they let him go. They've secured themselves that ward position, but it's going to be the Baron started up by Ocean.
That's a thank you to the observers out there, because yeah, that's a long trek in fog for Team Infernal to even try and contest for this one. So it's going to be a free Baron for this team. And looks like next Elder is the game plan.
How many Barons is that in this game?
This is why we need the stats team.
Is this? I think that was our 4th, because I think it was the first 2 for Infernal and then the second 2 for Ocean.
Can't end on Barons, can't unult Elders. It is what it is. But
we're just trying to get to 60 minutes now.
Hey.
You know?
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, exactly. With the Elder Dragon now, it's timing out for Team Ocean. Infernal have a little bit more of an advantage actually fighting into Ocean, where they previously felt far more timid. They didn't want to actually get burst out by that explosive damage.
Yeah, last game had, you know, GAs aplenty. This time around, Good Boy does not have that. He's very close to having his flash up and available, but just you'd have to imagine in comms making it very clear for his team that he's gonna feel unsafe versus a Chad or PCL who's been diving in pretty consistently. So he's playing it remarkably safe, and he has a rapid fire cannon just to be able to help out a little bit in these fights before it really breaks out.
Gale Force 2 to get a little bit of extra distance away. Always has the ability to reposition on his own, where previously they had had the Thresh from Breezy to help out with that.
I like what I see from Team Infernal there. Just kind of drawing their line of scrimmage. If Team Ocean ever tries to break into the division that they're currently in.
Like last time. They did this last game.
True. Know how to hold the fort down.
As right now, we're about to pass the timers that we had last game, 47 minutes. what they have to beat. Breezy caught away, but it's going to be the Shadow Surge into the back line, taking out Silly Shots. That damage out of Strumpets, the full stack Magi, while APA, he's trying to see if he can crack open the inhibitor turret in the top lane, while 4 members were chasing in mid. Onto Ocean, curtain call open. Strumpets going to be the first one tagged, personal space shield to help them out for now. Concept threatening to dive in, the route onto Winter, but they don't want to engage. Instead, they take out one inhibitor turret and back out APA.
Yeah, that's a base there from APA. PCL was the one that was closing in on him, so that's not going to be an inhibitor pickup for Team Ocean. But yeah, Silly Shots is down. It's a topsy-turvy game that we have here, but it's just primarily teams really focusing on what play can they possibly make, and that wasn't through mid. So Strumpus was the one that called for it. He's going to even have ulti up before the next fight starts, so he really didn't lose much for the kill that he got.
Man, Raz, you know, to start off our 3rd place matchup for the Honda County Grounds, we couldn't ask for a better series, right? We've already had this entire week where we went into day 4 with the teams completely dead even at 2-2 apiece. It was all based off day 4 performances on how the seeding worked into our final day.
Yeah, you just have to imagine how much pressure is on a lot of the players, because playing online, a lot of the times, yeah, the pressure isn't there, especially if you're playing either through scrims or just like not on broadcast games. So especially on environments like these, unfortunately couldn't actually bring them over here because of the circumstances for an offline event, but there is still a lot of pressure here. You can see it kind of really coming in through with teams not really able to finish it out. So that being said, 40 seconds on the Elder. See if we can see a game ender here.
As right now Infernal instead have called the bluff of Team Ocean. They've corralled these minions in mid lane, and they themselves are looking to crack open an inhibitor turret. Would be their first of the game, despite them having the lead the entire time.
All right, that's a flash down on Kyle. Let's see if they can get the engage off.
Curtain call, tagging a couple members, but not going to be able to get any more. Not going to be able to get the crit onto Chad, waiting it out, and Chad takes the final bullet to the face. The Serric shield keeps him up, top and set and turvy right now, but instead of fighting, Ocean themselves now push back the minions.
That long range damage that you're seeing from both Good Boy and Silly Shots is making it really hard for Infernal to get off any of these fights. Look at the bot lane though. Minions are stacking up at this.
And look at who they engage on. They're trying to see if they can take out Kyle. They got rid of at least one GA with PCL going golden. He's alive. Kyle's back up on his feet. They've lost APA. They've lost their dragon, but the Elder's right behind them if they want to take that instead, and they're waiting for the recalls coming in from PCL.
Yeah, but he's healed up pretty well now. Kyle actually should feel pretty confident. That's a lot of damage on Strumpus though.
If they can kill Strumpus, that's a guy with a lot of gold still on his head with 25 stacking on the Magi's. But Infernal, they push back in mid.
Yeah, so now Kyle is being defended. Chad and Winter are pushing off anybody that's trying to stop them from getting the inhibitor. They don't have a wave here, but maybe they have one minion.
They got the TP coming in. Infernal, they're just calling for the game. They've taken down a Nexus Cert. They've got the second one. Breezy's forced off by Chad. The kill's there. And Infernal, 50 minutes in, will take the series.
What a way to nail it down. I was like, they don't have a minion. Wait, what? Oh, they TP'd onto the soul minion with about like 5 HP, and they just guided it, shepherded in to nail down this series. Well done. What the hell?
So we're sure we only watched 2 games, right?
Doesn't feel like it. It feels like we watched 4.
Right. That was a 2-0 win for Infernal, but that felt like either team could win at any moment.
The true MVP for this one is the minion that lived.
Yes.
All right.
Lived with. I would love to see like a picture of exactly how much health that minion had when I think it was PCL TP'd to it to keep it alive, because that, like you said, was the hero. That's what allowed Infernal to open up the base and completely win. And
that's the creativity, because all eyes were on the Elder. Everyone was like, okay, well, of course we have to fight for it. We saw how influential it was in game 1, of course, and they realized, no, actually, we don't need to do this. Our Aphelios is insanely strong, is able to heal up to full. Now they have to fight into us, and they did a great job of being able to nail that one. So I know this was a tough week overall for the team. Didn't get exactly what they wanted being in the finals, but being able to show this kind of play, individual play from a lot of their members, you got to feel happy about that.
Right, and for me, Team Infernal, the fact that they were able to take these games, have them go as long as they did, but still somehow wrestle back control each time. The patience you talked about with Strumpus in game 1, even game 2, you could see that same level of patience.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, this team just came together this week, right? So in terms of team play, a lot of the concepts that they were being introed into, right? And kind of understanding how to play with the comps that they had, play through topside, all these things, really early introduced. So if they feel like, if the scouts come into this one, seeing a lot of the positives of how a specific player is able to play on weak side or anything like that, or how they're able to play in team fights, you still have a lot to take away there. And also you can be like, perfect, now in my hands, we can get a lot of good work done on an academy team or something like that. So I would say for me, taking a step back, my MVP for this series, Strumpus.
Yeah, I was about to say, if it wasn't Strumpus from this series, I'd be kind of surprised because just how well he played on the Lux, and then the Vex after that was amazing.
That was a blind pick Lux too. Just going to put that out there, everybody. He's able to do it all. The confidence that he's able to have coming into today. So good job overall.
It was. I mean, and that's the 2-0 that we have. So it was 2-0 to Team Infernal in our third place matchup. We got more League of Legends, though. So stick around. We're going to hear from the analyst desk. Then we'll get ready for our finals match right after that.
And welcome back to the 2021 Honda Scouting Grounds. What a game and what a series. We just had 90 minutes of games between two games where Infernal won 2-0, carried by Strumpus.
Yeah, Strumpus, like, really, so we talked about players to look out going in. We talked about Chad. Strumpus stood out so much in both of these games for what he was able to do. Obviously, we're just gonna go through an entire Vex highlight reel right here of Strumpus in this game. But I think the big thing, and again, I really want to reiterate this, talking to coaches and people behind the scene, they've really, really highlighted how amazing it's been to work with him in a team environment and what he's been able to bring, not only like in-game stuff like this, but to the team atmosphere itself, which I think is really, really cool for so many people to be like messaging me even during this game to be like, definitely call Strumpus out. He's been like a joy to work with, that kind of thing. And he really has impressed people who thought they had a very clear-cut idea of what kind of player he was.
Yeah, that makes me feel really good to hear, especially getting compliments and praises from your peers, from your colleagues, and if they're so passionate about like give this guy credit. He's really like taking the reins, and obviously from watching the games, right, his KDA has been absolutely ridiculous, and he's been a major player in the series and probably the most impactful, if I had to say, overall. And you're just starting to see some of the team fights where he's just popping off and making the difference in all the fights. I would say that like some other notes from the game were Ocean was able to get the early game lead, didn't really get a transition to much, and it was a 50-minute banger alert for sure.
There's a little bit getting caught out in side lanes. There's a little bit, maybe a little bit of hesitation. I do think when you get to this point, it could potentially be your last game at Scouting Grounds. You do want to put your best foot forward, and sometimes that means being a little bit more hesitant, being able to go in on some of these fights. But I did really like what Infernal were able to do in both of these games as a whole. Like I said, I think despite some getting caught out in side lanes, they did seem to have a little bit better of an understanding of how they wanted to play the sides, and also how they wanted to play around objectives.
This game overall felt more even to me too than the first one. It felt a lot more like back and forth, where Ocean could actually, like, their team comp was better, even though they were still kind of playing for lane. They definitely had more of a functional team comp, so they definitely made Infernal work for the win, that's for sure.
And thinking about how they worked for the win, when we look at the two styles that Strumpus had to play, first on the Lux, and now we see him going in and looking for the clutch picks as the Vex. What does that tell you about his profile as a player, Golden Glue, when you think about it from the coach perspective?
Yeah, so definitely when I saw it in draft, wow, look at that, 13-0, 13-1-4.
One down.
So
Died once.
what I looked at when I saw the Lux game is when you're playing Lux, you get to stay very far away from the opponents. You don't really put yourself in danger very much. Vex is basically the opposite, where you're really getting deep in there, you're taking your ult, you're diving into the fight, so you can definitely see a player's capability to skirmish a lot better when they pick something that goes in and just doesn't stay far away, right? Because you actually have the ability, the chance to land your skill shots, dodge the skill shots, rather than Lux is really just like you're fishing. You're just fishing and you're being patient. So to be able to see him play both sides, one game of a patience, more like calculated kind of play, and another one where it's a bit more just fiery and skirmishy, and do very well on both and be the MVP in my head for both the games. Very impressive to see.
So speaking about Ocean, Yeah, they did at the end of the day have 2 leads. I believe they had the gold difference lead at 10 minutes in both games.
Yeah.
Was there anything that stood out about their play style or any individuals? We saw Breezy carrying on Thresh. We saw Silly Shots sort of get it going. So was there a standout player for Ocean for you, Emily?
I mean, I still think, despite the fact that he didn't necessarily stand out in the way that you'd expect like a star player to, I think people should keep their eyes on Concept. I also think, you know, Breezy did have some pretty good performances here. The thing that impressed me a little bit more about Ocean, because they did stick with that like Nidalee Aurelion Sol combination that we talked about previously. Yeah. But I do think they, again, adjustments in draft that we already talked about that made their composition a little bit, you know, they had more engaged. They had an ability to have more agency in the game. I also liked their early run of play in response to what Infernal were doing. I really liked when they grabbed Herald, immediately dropped it mid. It just showed like improvement in their response and what they wanted to do from game 1 to game 2. And I always think it's really cool to see a group of players like learn in real time like that, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So what I would say about Team Ocean is I think a lot of the players individually were actually playing quite well. I think Silly Shots did better than I was expecting. I didn't really see his name before, and he was getting jungle leads, getting kills, like landing skill shots, landing his spear, like playing a pretty hard champion. Concept was applying split push pressure, especially in game 1. APA was getting his roams off on ASOL. I mean, and the bot lane for Motion did pretty well both games. So individually, I saw good things from all the players, and it was definitely one of those cases where it feels like the team, obviously they haven't been playing long together. They're kind of lacking some kind of cohesion to snowball with their leads. But for coming in here to scouting grounds and just trying to like present your skill, I think they all did a good job of that.
So speaking about presenting skill, you talked earlier about how the sort of objective is to win lane and then maybe win a spot on an LCS team, hopefully from there, not necessarily win game. But when we look at picks like ASOL, who aren't necessarily as standard as a lot of the mids you see elsewhere, is it actually a detriment to a player to pick a pick that is not as in vogue if it's still their best champ?
So one of those things on ASOL is definitely one of those things where it's like a pocket pick. It's a niche pick that it's really good to have in your arsenal and your tool belt. But you just want to make sure that it's not like your main tool, because if it's your best tool, it's a really easy ban when you get to competitive, because also the other team probably isn't going to be also playing Aurelion Sol, so it's not contested. It's just like, that's this guy's best character. We don't care about the champion. Just ban it and we don't have to worry about it, right? So it's really good to have those in your tool belt, but you definitely don't want to like over-index onto a champion like ASOL. I would put Lux in there too. These kind of like pretty niche picks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emily, I'm curious to get your perspective on what do you want to see players in Scouting Ground sort of bring to the table in terms of their focus? Should it be, hey, play comfort and just show me your peak level of gameplay, or do you want to see a different arrangement of champions that you might be more likely to see in LCS?
I mean, so piggybacking on a lot of what Grayson just said, like I think for a champion like Aurelion Sol specifically, it's interesting because it's so dependent on roam timers and map state, right? So if you can prove that you have the ability to be able to read the map and respond well on this champion, then that could be knowledge that maybe teams will look for on other champions, provided that you can diversify your pool, right? And then it's a balance. Like I think a lot of the learning, like as much as we're talking about these players on stage, and like it was amazing to see Strumpus pop off, because I hope more people start talking about him now, right? Because it was on broadcast. But behind the scenes is the most important thing to me in terms of having listened to these teams throughout the week and really listened to the way that their communication systems have developed, the way that they communicate with each other, just the way they work on a team. I heard coaches constantly reiterating this. So like it's a balance of both. Like, obviously, you still need to have the mechanical skill to be able to do it, but they're also definitely looking for how you work in a team environment. And the entire point of Scouting Grounds is to put people in as close of a team environment to something like an academy or an LCS as possible and see how players react to that.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to Infernal and Strumpus in particular, because I think he showed us all the things that you wanted to see from him, Emily. We've got one more series in store for you all, and I, for one, can't wait to see what these players have in store for us. So we'll be right back after this for the finals.
It all comes down to this one last dragon fight to call the whole game. But look at the damage on the Wombo combo.